Tonight on the Final Play.
Can't find anybody all the time in the world. Throws to the back of the end zone, and it is caught for the touchdown.
The Saints show up too late in L.A. as the win streak ends at 8.
It was average at best, I'll say that.
We've got full reaction from the team as well as analysis from Jim Henderson, who called the game.
I thought that was a controversial and probably a bad decision.
Plus, LSU tunes up Texas A&M and tallies 601 yards on offense. Meanwhile, Tulane and Nicholls State come up just 1 yard short of continuing their seasons. We'll recap the wild weekend of college football, check in on the prep playoffs, and look back on a winning week for the Pelicans.
From Fox 8 Sports, this is the Final Play, sponsored by your Southern Quality Ford dealer, built Ford tough, and Nissan.
Welcome into the Final Play. I'm Juan Kincaid, and what a difference a week makes. Last Sunday, the Saints found a way to rally from 15 points down to beat Washington in overtime. Today, in L.A., another double-digit fourth-quarter rally was needed to win their 9th in a row, and it just wasn't in the cards. Sean Vazan gets us started tonight from Los Angeles.
They say all good things must come to an end, and that includes win streaks in the NFL. And for the Saints, it was stopped at 8 games here in L.A. today as the Rams thoroughly beat the black and gold 26-20.
It's a disappointing loss. You credit the Rams. Clearly, they were better in every area today. Just thought you could point to a number of things, but we look in so many areas, I thought sloppy.
The Saints came into the game Sunday shorthanded in the secondary, and it showed immediately. With King Crawley and Marshawn Lattimore both out, Jared Goff picked on their replacements Devontae Harris and P.J. Williams and went 4 for 4 in the opening drive, culminating with a touchdown. Goff finished with 354 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air and wasn't shy about targeting 21 until he was pulled late in the third quarter.
We just made a change there. A couple missed assignments.
Offensively, Alvin Kamara shined again. He broke off a 74-yard touchdown run to bring the score to 10-7 in the first quarter.
Good blocking, you know. Mike had a great block. The O-line blocked it great up front, and, you know, just had to finish the run. Got him there for the touchdown.
Seemingly every time Kamara touched the ball, something incredible happened. He finished with 11 total touches for 188 total yards and 2 touchdowns.
Listen, there's always bright spots, you know, and Alvin, I thought, played extremely well today. Every time the ball was in his hands, it was exciting, you know. He was making people miss. He was breaking tackles. He was jumping over people. You know, he's continuing to progress, you know, into becoming, you know, a great player and a big part of this offense.
The problem was he didn't have much help. No one on that side of the ball came close to matching his production. They never looked comfortable and couldn't get into much of a rhythm. They only converted 3 third downs all game and were penalized 7 times. Drew Brees was pretty pedestrian. He finished 22 of 32 for 246 yards and a touchdown, but could have been picked off multiple times had it not been for some fortunate bounces.
We never found a rhythm, you know, good rhythm, run, pass, and, you know, just felt like everything was really tough sledding, you know, and then the minute we'd get something going, you know, there'd be a penalty that would set us back, and then we'd be off the field. So we did not possess the ball well enough offensively today.
Overall, the effort was not great, and Peyton pointed to the week leading up to Sunday as one of the reasons why.
I thought our week of practice was just okay at best, honestly. And, you know, it was average at best, I'll say that.
Now the Saints fall to 8-3. We'll have to regroup quickly with Carolina on the horizon.
24-hour rule. It's a 24-hour rule. So you focus on it for 24 hours. You know, we'll watch the tape. We'll study it. We'll make the corrections. We'll talk about it. We'll visualize it. And then you move on to the next opponent. And there's no more important game than that one that's coming up. Divisional opponent, obviously, they're same record as us. And this is an extremely meaningful game.
Joined now by the voice of Saints, Jim Henderson. And Jim, as they say, it only gets tougher from here. I think we saw that today. We probably got a little bit of that last week. But look, a 26-20 loss to L.A. The game was not as close as the final score indicated. We knew going in, not having Marshawn Lattimore, not having King Crawley was going to be a problem for this team. And boy, did it show up right away.
Yeah, it really did. Devontae Harris was eventually benched because of his performance, poor coverage, poor tackling, a lot of penalties on this defense. They eventually replaced him by Sterling Moore, who wasn't a world beater either. So you can only hope that they made the right decision by resting these two guys. Maybe they had no choice. There was no way they were going to play anyway. But if it comes down to resting them and getting them prepared for the Panthers with the NFC South lead on the line, or playing them today and maybe getting them injured even in defeat, I think they made the right decision.
Yeah, and it was tough, but look, Goff knew where the weakness was, and he exploited it right away. On the other side of the ball, though, Jim, I thought this was going to be kind of the makings of a shootout. I thought maybe they'd have to score 30 to win. I thought, you know, it would be an LA Saints kind of trade score for score, but man, they were out of rhythm all game. Was that surprising to you?
Yeah, it was, and sometimes I think you can see this with the Saints. We mentioned it up in the course of the broadcast. You can just see they're a rhythm team on offense. They had no rhythm from the very beginning. I mean, from the very first play of this game, the Farrell Cooper 40-yard kickoff return that eventually leads to their touchdown on the opening possession of the game. I think that's the first time the Rams have scored a touchdown in the first quarter at home. Goff throws multiple touchdowns in the first half. The game's really never in doubt.
Yeah, no doubt about that. As for the Saints, Alvin Kamara continues to shine bright. He was, as Drew Brees says, he was the bright spot in today's game. I mean, every time he touched the ball, something magical happened, it seemed like.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, he brings your heart up into your throat every time he touches it. Almost never gets tackled for a loss. He's so slippery. He's so smooth. I mean, 74-yard touchdown run, really the only true highlight of the game for the Saints. He's spectacular, leaping over tacklers as he did in the Detroit game. So, yeah, they got a perfect guy for this offense there. Mark Ingram was really held in check. In fact, the Saints had a lot of lows today, season lows in plays, first downs, rushes, time of possession. Only had 5 first downs offensively in the first half. So, and you know, there were a number of balls that were up in the air that could have been intercepted.
Yes.
I mean, they could have picked off 2, perhaps 3 of Drew Brees' passes that they didn't, or this game would have been a lot more one-sided.
No doubt about that. I want to ask you about a couple of decisions and a couple of things Sean Payton had said that I don't think it cost him the game, but were you surprised that he elected to go for that field goal on 4th down from the 4-yard line to make it 23-13 as opposed to going for the touchdown to cut the lead to 23-17?
Yeah, I was, and we mentioned that up in the booth. Deuce second-guessed it, as we both did at the time. I think it was actually from the 3-yard line, and the Saints have shown they can score from the 3-yard line as recently as last week with the 2-point conversion. So, yeah, I was a little surprised. I don't think the Saints were truly aggressive in that instance, but in the long run, it probably didn't make any difference. But yes, I thought that was a controversial and probably a bad decision.
What do you make of Sean Payton basically saying in the press conference after the game that it was a pedestrian week or an average at best week of practice? I'm curious because it sounds to me like maybe he thought maybe his guys got a little too comfortable and this is exactly what could happen.
Yeah, I think so. You're on an 8-game winning streak. Everybody's telling you how good you are, including us telling you how good you are. And, you know, it's a holiday weekend, too. And I think it's always difficult to keep your focus during a holiday weekend, especially when you're traveling. And the Saints came out here a day earlier than they normally would. Did that truly make the difference? Who knows? And it's certainly no excuse. They're outplayed here today by the Rams. But I think it's difficult around the holidays to keep your focus. There's so much going on. And again, the early travel to come out here on Friday.
All right. Have you checked the NFC South standings? Saints are 8-3. Panthers are 8-3. Falcons are 7-4. You have a game against the Panthers and a game against the Falcons back-to-back. This thing's heating up right here. They've got to regroup here and get focused for the stretch run here in December. That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, and we don't know how badly Greg Olsen is hurt again. Apparently he left this game. He just come back for the first time today off that broken foot. Apparently re-injured. Don't know the status of it. But this is a different Panther team than the Saints faced the 3rd week of the season when Cam Newton couldn't throw very well because of his shoulder and wasn't being allowed to run with their offense trying to make him a pure pocket passer. They've since given up on that. He's back to being Cam Newton, and that's always a problem when he is.
It should be fun next week. Jim, a tough one today, but nonetheless, the Saints are 8-3 and still atop the NFC South. Thank you, sir.
All right, Sean.
We're going to get a lot more out of Jim tomorrow beginning at 8 a.m. with his Black and Gold Rewind. At 5 p.m. this is commentary. It's award-winning, of course. And later that night, the Black and Gold Review Show at 10:35. You can submit questions via the Final Word feature on the Final Play app. Coming up, today's lackluster performance by the Saints wasn't that surprising to head coach Sean Payton. We will let him explain why when the Final Play continues.
watching The Final Play.
Our Fox 8 catch of the week came from today's game against the Rams, and it came by surprise to Saints cornerback P.J. Williams. This Jared Goff pass intended for Sammy Watkins, and he tips it up for Williams to bring it in. It's P.J.'s first pick of the season, and it's also our Fox 8 catch of the week. On the other side of the ball, there weren't enough catches by Williams' offensive teammates, especially on third down, where the Saints continued to struggle. And when they did move the ball, it came right back because of a penalty. Chris Hagan examines this team's struggles with what they usually do best.
After the Rams took their opening drive into the end zone, we immediately got the feeling that it would be a game where the Saints had to keep pace offensively. Unfortunately, the black and gold picked the worst time to play their sloppiest, converting just 3 of 13 third downs, their worst percentage since week 6 against Detroit.
We just didn't execute. We didn't execute on third down. I think we were 3 of 12 or 13, something like that, and that's not our standard.
And the real problem wasn't just the third downs alone, but how they got there. Sacks and costly penalties.
They're a very good pass rush team. That's something, I know they pride themselves on. I felt like once we settled in, we handled it pretty well, although, penalties for us and others, they just put us in some really tough situations at times.
As early as their first drive of the game, the pressure from the Rams was on, but it's the second half offenses that were the most costly. Down by 7 in the third, their second drive of the quarter hardly got going before a holding call put them in a 1st and 19 hole that they couldn't get out of. On the next drive, a sack on what should have been a manageable 2nd and 3 made for an insurmountable 3rd and 14. Then came more costly penalties. On 2nd and goal from the 3, Michael Ho'umanu-Inui's pass interference not only backed them up, but nullified a touchdown. They'd end up settling for a field goal and remain down by double digits. Simply put, the Saints couldn't get out of their own way.
If you really looked at it, we had a run or two, and then all of a sudden the drive started, then we had a penalty. We had 117 yards of penalties tonight, and so offensively we had our fair share of those, and you run out of 2nd and 20 or 3rd and 20 calls.
It was self-inflicted wounds. We had a lot of penalties. We started off kind of slow with protecting Drew. Didn't give him opportunities to get the ball out, and that was kind of like the flow of the game.
Given how sloppy and close to losing they were last week against Washington, maybe they were due a loss to correct some of the mistakes. But it's tough to see an 8-game win streak snapped, especially when those errors were avoidable.
Yeah, that sucks.
Reporting on the Saints, I'm Chris Hagan for The Final Play.
Up in New Jersey, Jets hosting Cam Newton and the Panthers, looking for their 3rd straight win. Second quarter, 3-all. Cam does it himself. Touchdown, 1-yard variety. LSU Tiger Jamal Adams not happy with Cam's Superman impersonation, celebration, whatever you want to call it. Panthers up 9-3 at that point. In the third quarter, Josh McCown for the Jets to the right finds Anderson wide open down the field. That's blown coverage, 54-yard score. Jets up 17-12. Later in the third quarter, same score. Jonathan Stewart, been there a long time, bulls his way into the end zone, 2-yard score. Panthers back on top, 18-17. In the fourth, Panthers down by 2. Wes Horton sacks McCown. McCown fumbles. Luke Kuechly scoops and scores. The Panthers back on top, 26-20. And they would salt the game like this. Late in the fourth, punting would be the Jets. Kalen Clay spins free. He goes 60 yards for the score. Panthers get the win, 35-27. They're now 8-3. Tied with the Saints at the top, but the Saints lead because of the head-to-head.
It was big. It really was. We had some opportunity on the offensive side. We missed, unfortunately. But to have the guys pick it up and do the things that they needed to on defense and on special teams, it was a big boost to the offense.
Much more Saints talk on deck for Jim Henderson's Black and Gold Review show tomorrow night, as well as on Thursday's Game Plan. Both of those shows at 10:35. Friday night is High School Time as Sean Vazan and Chris Hagan bring you highlights from across the area. Sunday, the game day routine. Tailgate at 10 a.m., kickoff at noon, recap and reaction Sunday night right here on The Final Play. Coming up, while LSU wrapped up its regular season with a strong showing against Texas A&M, Tulane and Nicholls State needed 1 more yard to keep their seasons going. We'll take you around the booth when The Final Play continues. In the meantime, check out the newest slideshow from LSU football on our Fox 8 News app and website.
the Final Play.
Senior Day always seems to bring out the best in everyone, and not just the seniors. In Tiger Stadium last night, LSU's seniors got plenty of help from the underclassmen as they closed out the regular season in style against Texas A&M. Chris Hagan was there.
For a second straight season, LSU's offense topped the 600-yard mark against Texas A&M.
I don't know if I can pinpoint it, but I think we always know their offense is very explosive, and so we have to do the same, and we really emphasize, we know they're going to score points, so we have to score more. And I think every year we come into this game knowing we got to step our game up.
While Darius Geis didn't come near his school record set in College Station last year, his 127 yards on the ground plus 106 from Darrell Williams got the job done. But the main attraction was the LSU passing game, one that's come under a lot of heat at times. Danny Etling threw for 347 yards and tied a career high with 3 touchdown passes, all to senior receivers on their night of celebration.
It's real special, and I'm really happy for those guys and myself as well. We work really hard. We deserve this. We deserve the most, and I'm just really happy for everybody.
To do it, on senior night in front of our home crowd with all my family and friends here, it meant the world to me, and so I'm just thankful to God for giving me that opportunity.
That type of performance speaks volumes for how far the offense has come, from a team that had almost no identity midseason to a balanced attack that dominated their last 3 SEC opponents.
We gelled together. With it being senior night, we had a lot of high emotions on it, a lot of emphasis on it, but, we grew as a team, and you saw that as the season progressed, and we did a great job.
And for Etling, who says for the first time Saturday he really sat back to soak up the atmosphere, what a way to finish his last game in Tiger Stadium.
I got an opportunity to play, and I've kind of just run with it, and I've made the most of it, and I've enjoyed every second. So I'm thankful to be a part of it, and I'm thankful to the coaches to give me an opportunity. And it's crazy to think how far I've come, even just in the 3 years I've been here.
He's put everything on the line for this team for 2 straight years. He's done everything he's ever been asked. And all you do is point out his failures and his shortcomings. But I choose to celebrate.
With Saturday night's result, the Tigers only continue their reign over Texas A&M. Dating back to the Cotton Bowl in January of 2011, they've now won 7 straight against the Aggies, with their latest 24-point win tying their largest margin of defeat over A&M since they entered the SEC. Reporting in Tiger Stadium, I'm Chris Hagan for the Final Play.
And with Alabama's loss, the AP poll has reshuffled. Number 1 now is Clemson at 11-1, followed by Oklahoma, Wisconsin, Auburn, Alabama down to 5 after that loss to Auburn. Georgia is at number 6. On the notables page, Central Florida is still undefeated. They're 11-0. They're at number 12. Memphis is 10-1. They're at 16. LSU up to 17. South Florida 23rd. Mississippi State at 8-4 are at number 24. What can you say about Tulane's 41-38 loss at SMU that hasn't been said already? The call on the goal line, or lack of one, is still being debated tonight. Was Jonathan Banks in, or wasn't he? In full speed, it was tough to tell, but on the replay, it looked pretty clear that the Green Wave quarterback did enough to get the Wave the win, which would have been their bowl qualifying 6th of the season. It was such a disheartening loss for a Tulane team that had done enough to win against the Mustangs, and they leave the field, as did their fans, feeling that the refs did them wrong. And ironically, over in Thibodeau, 1 yard was the difference between Nicholls State winning and losing, and their season continuing and being over. Playing in their first ever home playoff game, the Colonels had a chance to tie it, but fumbled the ball when they were on South Dakota's 1 yard line. In a game the Colonels never led, turnovers were the difference, as quarterback Chase Fourcade, no touchdown throws, but 3 interceptions. And of course, when they were going in for the tie late, another turnover sealed the game for the Coyotes. 38-31 was the final, and it was the Colonels' first home loss this season. And over at the Superdome, another strong Bayou Classic as Grambling State and Southern went down to the wire, and it all came down to 4th quarter execution by the Tigers. They led pretty much the entire game, but seemed to get a little complacent in the 4th quarter as Southern took the lead on a Dylan Beard 8-yard touchdown reception. But the Tigers would rally with just over 3 minutes to play. Martez Carter punching it in from 11 yards out and got a late field goal to win it 30-21. Grambling wins the SWAC West Division for the 3rd straight season and will advance to the SWAC championship game for the 3rd straight season as well. Coming up, we wrap up week 13 of the prep football season as a couple of local teams have locked up visits to the Dome. And we'll check in on the Pelicans who've been enjoying the month of November.
You're watching the Final Play.
Our high school play of the week takes us to Yeoman Stadium. De La Salle's Brendan Groves, pass rushing St. Thomas More, forced the throw high. It's picked off by Joseph Husband. And on the return, he has a Cavalier convoy blocking for him, but he steps out of bounds at the 5-yard line. But still, an incredible play on a huge night as the Cavaliers book their trip to the Superdome. And here are our Prep Player of the Week nominees. Devin Brumfield, running back from Covington. How about his game against Honville? 268 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns. Lakeshore quarterback Chris Penton, 349 yards passing and 4 scores as they advance. And how about Puka Williams, the running back from Honville High School? He had 304 yards rushing and also 2 scores in the Tigers' win over Covington. Voting begins on Monday and closes on Wednesday. Go to our website, fox8live.com/player to vote. So a couple of state championship matchups are set, but you're going to have to wait a little bit for it. The select title game, that is. The Division II title game will be on Friday, December 8th, and it's 1 versus 2 as De La Salle battles University High at 3:30. Then on Saturday, 2nd seed John Curtis will face 4th seed Catholic of Baton Rouge in the Division I title game. That one kicks off at noon in the Dome. 14 games in the month of November. 8 of those tips have taken place in the past 2 weeks. It's been a busy month for the Pelicans, and the good news is they've won more than they've lost this month. They're 8-5. Now the bad news. Their 5th loss came on the road at Golden State last night against the defending NBA champs. Anthony Davis and Drew Holiday did their part. Davis had 30 and 15. Holiday with 24 points, which included 17 in the first quarter. The Pels were tied at the half, but you knew Steph Curry would heat up, and he did. 14 of his 27 points came in the third quarter as the Warriors eventually pulled away for the 110-95 win. It snapped the Pelicans' 3-game win streak. They'll be back home Wednesday night to face the Minnesota Timberwolves. And that's our show for tonight. For all of us here at Fox 8, I'm Juan Kincaid. We hope you'll join us again next Sunday night for the Final Play.
From Fox 8 Sports, this has been the Final Play.